Hey everyone, it's carnival time in Cyprus, one of the biggest carnivals in the whole world. Yes, 2 weeks of carnival. Yes, can you believe it? All sorts of events goes on, and from Thursday, basically people finish work. The afternoon of work on Thursday was everyone was out of their offices outside, cooking souvla outside and dressed up, because now is the time. If you don't dress up, even if you do have to go into work, you dress up. And yes, if you're one of those who are not keen on dressing up, you are the odd one out. The first year we came here, we went to the actual carnival day and we didn't dress up. And we looked so odd because if you're watching the carnival, you're dressed up. You can go into the bank tomorrow, everyone will be dressed up. It is so amazing. It's not one of those things, some people dress up, some don't. Everybody dresses up. So, yeah, every day dressing up. And I thought I'd tell you a little bit about the carnival today. And then we'll go and look on maybe Wikipedia and some other places and see what facts they get right. So let's begin. The carnival. Limassol is the town of Cyprus carnival. They do actually do it in other towns in Paphos and Nicosia, but that's not the big one. That's just their own little carnivals. Recently, other towns also have done it, but they don't attain the grandeur and splendour of the huge Limassol carnival. It usually takes place in February or March, a week preceding Lent. It lasts for about 10 days, during which nightclubs, tavernas, hotels, clubs, discos, anything and everything provide evening entertainment, all in fancy costumes. There are numerous parties and dances during the last week, during which everybody is disguised with masks and colourful fancy costumes. The parade is unique, with crowds thronging the streets to cheer the floats. Recently, the organisation has been undertaken by the Limassol municipality. Apart from the children's parade, introduced more recently in the programme, taking place usually in the Syrian Stadium, there's also a contest for the participating choirs. The climax of the celebration is the very last Sunday, when early in the afternoon, thousands of people from all over Cyprus travel to Limassol to watch the at least 2-hour spectacular parade of floats headed by King Carnival. The carnival event is recommended to all who happen to be on holiday in Cyprus during this period. The historical origin of the carnival is obscure. It possibly has its roots in a primitive festival honouring the beginning of the new year and the rebirth of nature. Some think the origins date back to Greek mythology, while others consider that the beginning of carnival may be linked to the pagan festivals of ancient Rome. It's actually the oldest carnival in the world. So then we'll go on to my very, very old book on ancient traditions of Cyprus. And they say this about the carnival. Hey, yes, it's one of the biggest in the world and it goes on for 2 weeks. So this is my very old book about all traditions of Cyprus. And they say, 58 days before Easter. By the way, Cyprus is the Orthodox calendar, so our Easter is different to a lot of countries' Easter dates, by the way. 58 days before Easter, we begin the 10-day carnival period with psychosis, the lifting of the meat eating period before Easter. As this day always falls on a Thursday, and because a lot of meat is roasted and pastries fried, and the air is thick with the odour of food, it is called the Greek word for smelly Thursday, which means smoke coming from the grilled meat. This in ancient times was offered to the gods of Olympus. Specialities of this are many and plenty. Dactylia means fingers, by the way. These are pastry fingers filled with ground almonds and cinnamon and sugar. Katefi is syrupy cake that looks like rolled up vermicelli or Weetabix. We call it shredded wheat. And it's also filled with almonds, cinnamon and sugar. So with these and other good things to eat, Carnival begins. It lasts for 10 days. The traditional town for Carnival is Limassol, where people dress up every night and during the day and go around from house to house or go dancing through the night. The first Sunday of this period is called Triofagos, cheese eating Sunday, when ravioli with cheese, egg and mint filling are cooked and where a kind of sweet cream cheese puff are fried. On this Sunday, a children's parade is held in Limassol, and hundreds of children dress up and compete for prizes. It used to be held in the stadium. The nicest and oldest custom in Cyprus is that of the mad or silly mask. This custom is also prevalent in some of the villages. Groups of children, grown-ups too, dress in any old rag they can find and go from house to house, teasing anyone who opens the door to them. Their faces are covered either by a mask or a cloth sack with slits for eyes and mouth. At every house they visit, they're offered sweetmeats, cakes, etc. And while they're trying to eat, which is not always possible through their mask, their hosts try to guess who they are. Very often they guess correctly, and if they're friends, they too will dress up and then join the company, and all together will go on to the next house. This goes on until they are a large happy crowd, dancing and singing and teasing whomever they meet. It's an unwritten law that you're not allowed to lift a mask during carnival time. Did you know it's me? The last Sunday of carnival is meat eating Sunday, and the typical thing is to cook ravioli with a mincemeat filling, and also a mincemeat instead of cheese filling, and of course meat is eaten in abundance. On this Sunday, thousands of visitors stream into Limassol to watch the biggest carnival parade of floats, and at night people dance until the early hours, which is Clean Monday. We also call it Green Monday. Clean Monday sets an end to the carnival and fasting begins. On this day, everyone goes out to the fields or countryside in big parties to celebrate the so-called cutting of the nose of 40 days. Huge baskets loaded with greens are the main feature of this holiday. All greens are eaten raw as they come and are not made into salads. Well-washed crisp lettuce, spring onions, broad beans, celery, artichokes, coriander leaves, sweet vetches litter the table or tablecloths that have been spread out on the ground for the picnics. Of course, there are plenty of black and green olives and quite a lot of specialities and delicacies, such as hummus, crab meat, squid, mussels, octopus. Wine flows freely, and there's lots of singing and merrymaking right into the afternoon. Now begins the long 50 days of fasting, the Pentecost, 50 days. Penti is 5. The days are actually 48 because 2 fasting days fall into the carnival period. So I hope that was of interest to you. As I say, I'm going to go on Wikipedia and see what they say, because they're not always correct, so we'll see. Oh, this isn't Wikipedia. This is another site I've just come on first. This is a Cypriot site, so we should be correct on everything I say now. The Limassolians have fun. Fun runs in their blood, and this is provided by the history of the city. The celebration of Carnival, which today attracts thousands of people from all over the cities of Cyprus, but also from abroad. It has its roots from ancient times. In its original form, it only involved the entire, sorry, in its original form, it only involved the elite of society, yet it slowly evolved into a great popular festival occasion. Carnival has its roots in ancient Greece, through which it later arrived in Cyprus, and especially in the ancient civilization, in honour of Dionysus and in honour of Aphrodite's exceptionally beautiful demigod lover, Adosis. Hey there, I can't see who you are, but I can just see someone's popped up. I can just see a side panel from what I'm reading. So whoever you are, I think it says Homestead on the end because it's stead. Good day, Dawn. Something. Won't be long, go. I'm only up this late, something hunting. Good day to you. I'll come back to you in a second. Thank you for being here. The two ancient festivals where both children and adults would participate in disguise. Historical evidence proves that the carnival feast continued during the Middle Ages and during the periods of the Venetian and the Frankish rule, despite the dominance of Christianity and the obedience to strict moral laws of Cyprus. The first reference to the Carnival of Cyprus comes from Neophytus Inglistis, who blames through his written work those who participated in this foreign custom of celebrating the beginning of Great Lent. The second one comes from Cristofori Further, who visited Cyprus during the spring of 1566. He particularly mentions that on these specific days, Cypriot nobles used to organise glorious feasts and made up games and dance. People continued to celebrate Carnival during the long period of the Ottoman rule, as well as during the period of the British rule. In 1898, private individuals set up the first committee which would honour the person in the best disguise with 20 golden francs. During the Limassol Carnival in 1929, the first beauty pageant had been introduced. Selecting a beauty queen seemed rather radical in those days. As I said before, we have a carnival king. The year of 1928 is of great significance since the mine workers participated in the parade while using 25 cars which belonged to the mine. The conductor was in charge of the Philharmonic Orchestra. This marked the beginning of the working class participating in carnival events. A few years later, at the beginning of the 1930s, the cinemas were in operation in Limassol. Thanks to their progressive owners or managers, the most successful and crowded events were organised there for the next 3 decades. During that time, social classes were abolished, and thus rich and poor people used to have fun together, turning the carnival into a crowded public feast. The Limassol Carnival has been a form of artistic expression and excellence since the ancient times. The people of Limassol would always pay particular attention to the elegant appearance of their costume, as well to the participation of almost all arts and of their creators of the carnival: floats, costumes, makeup. Music is another important aspect of the carnival. The Serenade of Limassol is an equally high level as the Serenades of Athens. It's praised by many people. In 1910, the conductor created the first mandolina and consistently takes part in carnival events. In 1925, he takes the people of Limassol by surprise by participating for the first time in the carnival parade. The carnival has survived in periods of obstruction and strong religious beliefs, and it has been criticised many times by church and priest. The town of Limassol was also under fire for hosting the sinful carnival. However, it's obvious that even during difficult times, it manages to survive and attract even more people. It is not a coincidence that people have always believed in the phrase, during poverty, people need to have fun. Let's see who's here. Hey, here's everybody. It's Josh. Hi, Josh. Good day. Managed to catch you live. Won't be on long, about to go to sleep. 11:40 p.m. here. I'm only up this late and just finished hunting. Carnival sounds a really great time. Yes, one of the biggest in the world. Oh, hi, Josh. Lovely to see you. So, as I say, let's go on to Wikipedia. We always take this with a pinch of salt, obviously, because we all know that Wikipedia is written by anybody. And I had spoke on my last live about how I can wholeheartedly prove a lot of it is nonsense on Wikipedia, because someone put no one lives here and no one ever has lived here where I live, and went on to say a lot of nonsense about where I live. And I typed in, well, this is actually not correct, and I typed in the history as my neighbours told me, and that I do live here and some others live here, and I got told not to put nonsense in, and they took away what I'd put and put their nonsense back. So let's have a look. It says the Limassol Carnival Festival is an annual European carnival event held in Limassol, Cyprus. The event is held 12 days before the start of Lent, on the Sunday before Ash Monday, 50 days before Orthodox Easter. The festival is a colourful 10-day, now they're saying 10 days, so already we know we're not correct here, of the people eating, singing, satire games, wearing costumes and attending parties. The festival accumulates with a large parade, which includes an array of folks. Just seeing there. Have a great day. Go to sleep now. God bless you guys. Thanks, Josh, for coming. Really appreciate that very much. Okay. The Grand Parade with young participants. Basically, we have two parades. We've had the children's parade, where it can be dance schools, bands, all children taking part and that kind of thing. Big groups of children, but organised groups. And then we have the proper one, the last day of carnival, which is the proper carnival. So don't get confused if you ever come here and think the children's carnival is our big main carnival. If you've seen footage of it, you think that's not a very big carnival, you've probably watched the children's one, because of course there's going to be adults in it as well. The Grand Parade were young participants. Limassol's Carnival Festival, which is said to be an old custom traced back to pagan rituals, is now held as an entertaining event. The local belief is that it is a Hellenistic heritage that goes back to pre-Christian times and to an ancient Greek festival honouring Dionysus, the man of wine and fun. However, the first written reference of the carnival is by Nephthys Eglistos, who accuses Cypriots of accepting an alien tradition of celebrating the start of the Great Fast. This is very similar to what I've just read before. The second mention is from Christopher Furka, who visited Cyprus in 1566 during a journey to the Holy Land. He was impressed by the carnival parades and told a story about how local noblemen organised amazing feats. My light's just gone out. Where people dance, sing and have fun. As practiced now in Limassol is a legacy from the Venetians, who ruled over Cyprus in the 15th to 16th centuries. Unlike the Carnival of Venice, both adults and children can join the Limassol Carnival, and as a rule, everybody pours foam on each other in the old city. Don't do that. That doesn't actually happen. I don't know where they get that from. The celebrations are held in most towns around the island, but the event held in Limassol is by far the largest and most popular. After some groups broke the ground rules in 2015, don't know what that means, the Limassol municipality does not allow offending groups or floats starting from the junction and may intercept them at a later stage with the help of police and security guards. All I know about that, I don't know quite what they make it sound like that for, was it was so huge that there was a second point where they filtered in floats, because obviously they couldn't all start at the same point. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of floats. So something there. It's now saying the number of participants of each group should not exceed 500 people. That tells you how big it is. You think when you see a normal float and some people walking with each float, how many you normally see in a carnival or procession. They're talking about only 500 people for each procession with that one float. So let's say a dance school. Large amount of alcohol is not allowed on the floats. No DJ is allowed on board the vehicles because broadcasting music is forbidden, because we only use loudspeakers that must be tuned into the radio frequency broadcasting the music for the parade. So it's all for obviously copyright reasons. I've often wondered this, if you go to not a show theatre where they say you can't film or anything, but if you're just watching a carnival parade and it's copyrighted music, it's basically been put in the public domain because people go and film it and post it. So that's the reason they have this special radio frequency, because obviously anyone filming then the music's okay to use. The 2021 edition of the festival was cancelled due to the pandemic. Despite this, people arrived to celebrate the festival as they were allowed to have a mini parade, which saw them remain in their cars and follow the route that the annual parade would usually take. This is not correct. There were protesters that actually got little groups together and drove around. There was absolutely nothing official about it, or you were told could take part. And then it says later in the day, more people arrived and the event turned into a street party. That is not correct at all. Police intervened, and the Limassol mayor said he was saddened and disappointed. 2 businesses were fined by police. Now that is correct, because there were a couple of businesses that opened up when nowhere was allowed to be opened and let people in for food and drink. So it's sort of been a bit spun out of proportion, that. Then it says Carnival has been celebrated in Cyprus for over a century. Well, more than that, as I've told you. Regardless of political or economic conditions of the time. As I said to you, it's actually meant for everybody to be equal, so it is for all. And most of the floats are actually politically like laughing, making jokes about political situations and whatever. So it's very satire and whatever. Where are we? The epicentre of the carnival in Cyprus is on the seafront city of Limassol, the residents of which have a reputation for being the most fun-loving and sociable on the island. Carnival represents a ritual which on the eve of spring affords the opportunity for people to express their faith and optimism for a good year. The municipality conducts a minimum of 5 events. There's far more than that. It goes on for 2 weeks before and after, which include an open air event at Tepak Square. A children's parade is rightly considered to be one of the key events of the carnival and is held on the first Sunday of the festival events. Children customarily dress up in carnival costumes and parade down the streets of Limassol. On the Grand Carnival parade, the floats theme and the singing are commonly satire. The Carnival King could be presented as a figure representing social, political and economic conditions of the relevant to Cyprus in general. On the final day, which is the Grand Carnival, more than 150 floats, a lot more than 150 floats, and an estimated of 50,000 people take part in the procession. The city's brass band and groups of drummers and mandolin-toting serenaders accompany the Carnival King. During 2014, the satire theme was the Carnival King depicted with euro signs, indicative of the economic crisis in Europe. It's because we had to take the euro and no one wanted it. On an earlier occasion, the Carnival Queen was presented as Angela Merkel, as they then considered her responsible for the economic crisis in Europe. Yes, I won't go into it now, but there was lots of taking of people's money out the bank if you had over a certain amount, and they were using Cyprus to be the test for doing so. They basically robbed people of their money. And they said everyone would have to give a certain amount of their money to help with the economic crisis in Europe. And we were the only country that did it, and we had no say in it. They just closed the bank. If you had over a certain amount of money, they took it. And that was that. We lost a lot of investors in the country after that happened. So a lot of big investors from other countries had their money taken out of the Cyprus banks as well as the Cypriots, and off they went. Themes. The first week of the festival begins on a Thursday with entry of the Carnival King in a procession through the town, which is decorated for the occasion, followed by a grand fancy dress competition of children that is held at the Syrian Athletic Stadium. The first week also marks Meat Week, which is the last week for eating meat before Easter. The day the festival starts is also known as Stinky Thursday, a name attributed to the cooking aromas of the meat in the streets. In the second week of the festival, which is called Cheese Week, dairy products are consumed. At the end of the week, on a Sunday, the celebration involves the Grand Carnival Parade, which is taken through the Avenue of Limassol. People from all parts of the island gather to watch the floats with the serenade and other masquerade groups. Throughout the festival period, most hotels and clubs in the city hold fancy dress balls and parties. Clowns, cowboys, pirates, dragons, ancient Greeks, medieval knights are popular themes, but pop stars along with characters from the year's hit movies and musicals are often a common sight. I wouldn't agree with that. Location. The Limassol municipality organises the final Grand Parade all the way through Macarius Avenue, more than 7 kilometres, which is Limassol's High Street. Well, that was interesting reading. Some of it correct, some of it not so. Yeah, as I say, you get the children's parade first. That's sort of come and gone now. And it's just fun everywhere. There's so much going on. If you go somewhere now, particularly clubs, not bars so much, but clubs and nightclubs, those kind of things, if you're not dressed up, and we're not talking about just put a mask on, we're talking about costume. If you're not, quite a lot of places won't let you in. So you can't just put a mask on. No, that doesn't wash. You have to be in costume. So that's quite good. As I say, you're the odd one out if you don't dress up. And as I say, the first year, me and Mike were here and we went to the carnival and we weren't dressed up. We didn't know. And we were odd. Everyone's looking at us like tourist. You do need to dress up, and it's great. You can just sit in a restaurant, you see all these costumes going by when it's not even the carnival parade day. It's really good fun. It's really great. And as I say, it goes on for literally 2 weeks. You have all the pre-parties and till the final day. So it's great fun. I did want to go and film it for you this year. I'm not up to going. I'm not out and about at the moment. So what I'm going to do, I thought I'd do this live talking about it instead this year. And then maybe next year I'll go and film it for you, some of it, It goes on for hours. And what I really want to film for you is people in the streets just wandering around or in costume. So maybe I'll do that. So I thought, well, I'll talk about it on live this year, and then next year make a big video on it, maybe a couple of videos, one talk about the history again on it, maybe for those who don't watch it on the live. And I'd like to film some of it for you. So maybe next year. So as I say, I thought, well, we'll just throw this up, literally throw up. I'll just do this and talk about it. And we can all have fun in our own homes, can't we? We can all have fun. So, yeah, that's really what I thought I would do for today. And then I thought, seeing as it's fun time, I will play my game I've been playing for a while, which is a game I got from Andrea from Digging for Health channel. And we're all loving it, Andrea. If people are on, they play with me. If people aren't on the actual live, then it's a good way for you to know more about me. I think I've got the cards a bit mixed up in the box now, which ones I've done and which ones I haven't. Hopefully, let's do a top card. So the first question is, what would make an exciting journey? Now, if you like any of these questions, you can always answer them later on in the comments below. Any questions you'd like to answer, that would be great. But learn more about me. What would make an exciting journey? No, I've talked about this so much. Time travel. Time travel, that's got to be exciting, hasn't it? I don't think I'd like time travel if you didn't know where you were going or when. That some people might like that, but if you're a fan of Doctor Who, it could be future, which could be quite scary if we're talking things that we don't know about. Maybe, who knows? Is there a future? Who even knows that? So yeah, as a child, fun journey was, if I could pick one type of journey, we never went abroad on holiday. My parents just don't do that. We always went to Pontins. Now, anyone who knows Pontins, this was old day Pontins, old school Pontins, nothing at all like it is now. And for those who don't know what Pontins is, let's say it's sort of a holiday camp. Think like an all-inclusive, but you still have to buy your drinks at the bar. Let's say that, but for families. All your entertainment's free. There's things on site to do. I know there's places like that these days, but it's not like Pontins used to be. And because I always get travel sick really bad, I'm better in the front of a car, but even sort of a couple of hours in the back of a car, I could be travel sick. So my mum always used to pack a picnic on the day we were going on holiday, and part of the way there we would stop, no matter how far it was, we would stop and have a picnic. I love picnics. Maybe that's where my love of picnics come from. I don't know. So that would be an exciting journey for me from my childhood. Although I loved picnics, I just wanted to get to the holiday camp. I always wanted to get to the holiday camp. But that would, from my past, that would be the exciting journey. From now, exciting journey, time travel. And I've always said I'd like to go back to any house I've lived in when it was first being built and the first people to live there. My parents' house, where I was last with them, they had that built, so that one wouldn't be that much fun. But places I've owned, I'd like to see here when it was first built and what it was like here, because I know Cyprus was even more rural in the past. So yeah, that. Next question is, what's the most amazing thing about your family? Well, my family's Mike. That's my hub. We've all got extended family. Obviously, I've got siblings, but what I call my immediate family is who I live with. That's how I'm going to say that, is who I live with. So what did it say? Most amazing thing. I would say, if I'm talking about Mike, the most amazing thing about Mike is he pretty much seems to be able to do most things. He says there's lots of things he can't do or he's not good at, like, oh, I can't learn a language and things like that. Oh, my goodness, Mike, you can't be able to do everything, you know. Be grateful for what you can do. So I would say that no matter what, he finds a way to fix things, deal with things. He makes things homely. So we laugh and say, no matter what, he provides home comfort. So I'm saying the real simple things in life. It doesn't take money to buy a Valentine's present or a birthday present. It's about being present. Let's say that. What would be a great new way to greet people? Oh, we're having a laugh. Let's think of like a new way to greet people. Something I detested was this elbow thing during the pandemic. I was like, oh, that annoyed me. That annoyed me. A great new way to greet people. What about having a phrase or a word? Yes, that would be the simplest thing, but something universal. So I say a word, it doesn't have to mean anything. I think something universal, maybe not even a word. What about an action? Because then most people could partake in that. Just some sort of cool sign, like, or just some cool sign. Oh, by the way, this is for Ashley, in case I wave my arms around too much. That's part of the start of Carnival, actually. We call it Mess Up Day, which I suppose is a little bit like All Fool's Day or April Fool's Day, little bit like that, but it's more about having something strange about yourself, like mess up your hair, have a funny hairstyle, or it's not about tricking people so much. So you normally find people have multicolored nails or like fake tattoos on their face or something like that. Yeah, so I would say some sort of new sign or action, but be careful. Some hand signs can mean different things in different countries. So just check, nothing there. So I would say some sort of new sign, hand sign or something to greet people. I don't know. What would be a funny thing to see a dog doing? Talking. Talking. If we own dogs or animals, we all feel they're talking. But yeah, definitely talking. Or driving a car, or I know there's those silly YouTube videos out there, these sort of things, but talking for sure. Next question. What animal would you hate to have inside your house? Oh, straight away, a cow. They smell when they do their little cow pats. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I've said this before. My mum's friend moved to the countryside, and she was saying, oh, she's got all these big fields behind her, and we went out to the garden and she had all washing out, and as the washing was blowing in the wind, you could smell nasty smells, like almost like if you've ever been past a sewage plant and you get the smell. And and she had big sheets blowing in the wind, and it was like wafting the smell. And this lady was sort of saying, oh, look, all these big farm fields here. She said, it's quite nice. She said, you see the cows there. And that reminded me, never in my whole life to live anywhere near cow fields or a cow farm. We've got one away from us, not near us, but when we go on a drive to like another village, and they've got a big dairy farm. There's not many dairy farms in Cyprus, but there's a dairy farm. And just literally as you drive past in the summer, we have to remember to wind the windows up before we go past. Cow smells. So yeah, an animal you'd hate to have, outside your house, not inside your house. What animal would you hate to have outside your home? A cow, definitely. And I'm not over fond of cows. There's all these stories of people being attacked by herds of cows as they go walking and that. I've always been dubious of them. That's passed on to me from my mother, because we used to have a caravan my mum and dad had in Pevensey Bay, which is near Eastbourne, and you could walk to the Pevensey Castle, but you had to go over like styes. Is it styes or stiles? The wooden things you go over to stop the animals getting out. You sort of climb over. Styes or stiles? Not sure now. And mostly there would be nothing in these fields, but occasionally there would be a bull and cows in there. But you never knew till you went in the field and it sort of went round a corner of the field, because there's all like hedges following the landscape of a river. So it wasn't till you walked around suddenly you'd see them all. My mum would be, we're going back. So that's where my fear of bulls comes, but it's not a stupid fear, because you do hear so many people, particularly in recent times as well, get mauled by even cows. I assume it's when the cows are in season or something like that, maybe. So yeah, cows. What causes you a great deal of pain? Are we going to be serious here, or are we going to be fun? What causes you? I would say pain in the heart, as in things that happen, just crime, bad crimes, murder. So I would say that causes me pain, as in pain in the heart, that people could do such things. So we'll say that. What is something you would not want to start because of how long it would take to finish? I talk about this as well. I've mostly been self-employed all my working life. Accounts. I just hated doing my accounts. I love being self-employed, apart from having to do accounts. So I knew it would be a long haul to get them done. I just hated them. So I used to put off doing them, not as in delay for time when they had to be done. I'm not silly, but I'd always, if it was a day, right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it today. I'll just do this. Oh, that needs a dust. Oh, I haven't cleaned that cupboard out. I must do that. So it was delay tactics of the day I was going to do it. I was always glad when I got it done and felt, nice release. I've got it done. I'd always treat myself to something afterwards. But yeah, so what's something you would not want to start because for how long you take to finish? Yeah, I wouldn't say it always took a long time. I just hated doing it, but you had to be so methodical, and I did it properly because my dad was in finance and he was an accountant as well, so he taught me how to do it to the finer points. So it wasn't just a case of adding up things, it was doing it to fine points. What is always a losing bet? What's always a losing bet? I would say to someone, I bet you wouldn't do that. 9 times out of 10, they would do it just because you bet them not to do it. So to sort of goad someone into saying, I bet you wouldn't do that. What is the nicest name you can call someone? What's the nicest name you can call someone? In my YouTube comments, when I comment on people's channel, the word I use a lot if I really like something or thought someone did something really well, I always put the word awesome, and you'll be like, yeah, she does. If I've put awesome on your channel, I mean it. It's not a word I just throw out. It's my word of saying it was really, really amazing, really good. It kind of sums up everything. Awesome. And that's why I say my community is awesome. It's the best word I use that rounds things up. So I would say awesome. And comment below if you're like, oh yeah, Dawn, you do. And now you'll be like, I'm looking out for that awesome now, Dawn, on your next comment on my channel. What is admittedly not your strong suit? That means, those of you who don't know, it means something you're really good at, like what you're not good at. Your strong suit is what you're really great at. So what is not your strong suit? What's not my strong suit? So what's my... Can you hear that? There's a cat keeps coming all night outside. You probably can't hear it, but it's out my window going, meow, meow. What's not my strong suit? What am I not good at? Now with my condition, I don't really do phone calls. But I wouldn't say I'm not good at that. That's because I just can't do phone calls. It's not my strong suit. Well, again, it's got to be things I put off doing, really. It's not my strong suit. Oh, sounds awful that I can't say something. I'm sure I could think of things later. What's not my strong suit? Driving. I don't drive. It's not what you can't do, really. Strong suit means what you're not really good at, what you're not great at. I'd say cooking, as in I used to hold dinner parties and make fabulous gâteaux and desserts. Everyone knew I made great desserts. Now, beyond growing and harvesting, I'm not really interested in anything after that. I got my kitchen chopper. I can process. I just not really into doing much in the kitchen anymore. I've just lost my oomph for that. I think a lot of it was with my condition. I couldn't stand up for too long. So that put me off of wanting to stand there because I knew it would just lead to a disaster in the long run. So I think that's where that went. And I can't concentrate long enough to make something fancy anymore. If I've got to cook, I just go out there, cook. And I just can't be bothered to be in the kitchen anymore, really. I'm not really interested in that. You'll see a few recipes from me. You'll see I do make lemon curd and things like that, but it's not a love anymore. So let's say that's not my strong suit anymore. If you knew me from before and you knew me now, but you didn't know me the opposite way, you would be shocked of the opposite way. So people knew me before, came to all my big dinner parties. They'd be like, wouldn't believe it was me now, that I can't be bothered to be in the kitchen. And anyone who knows me now, with me saying that, would not believe the things I produced before. Two different peeps. What activity do you wish burned more calories? Sleeping would be great, wouldn't it? And sitting doing nothing. Wouldn't that be fabulous? That would be absolutely fabulous. Yes, the activity I wish burned more calories, doing nothing. You do know that does burn calories, though, don't you? You do know. Who would you hate to have as your nemesis? Nemesis, what's that exactly? What's nemesis exactly? Is that like yourself? What's nemesis exactly? I don't want to answer that because I'm not 100%. Is nemesis the one who's against you, or is nemesis like yourself? I'll leave that one because I don't want to give a bad answer. I'll put that to side and see if I can remember to look that up for next time because I don't want to get it wrong. Nemesis is like superheroes. It's the one against them, I think, isn't it? Yes, I think it's the one against them. Let's answer it as that. because yeah, Superman and that is their nemesis as the one against them, I think. So let's answer it as that. Who would I hate to have as my nemesis? So if we're saying the person against me, I would say any of these like superheroes that can turn themselves into anything and be anything, because if they were trying to defeat you in some way, they would have that. If we're talking reality, I would say anyone who has such good knowledge of law or influence of anyone of law that could say or do anything against you and they would win even if they were lying. That. What's the time? There's 4 on the card, so I'll just do this card because I don't like to try and do more than an hour really, because I do feel people watch it back later, an hour is more than enough. What mistake do you make repeatedly? Well, now it's obviously not reading properly, missaying words, can't get words out, can't get my brain to figure out things. So anything speech. I realise now if on my Greek, I'm actually misspelling and putting words back to front and thinking I've put a word and I've actually written a different word. And there are some Greek letters that look like English letters, but they're not, such as what we would say in English is a letter P written is actually a Greek R. So when I write in English, I often put P's as R's. I'm mixing the two up. There are other letters like that, and I'm like another one. What looks in English like a letter V is actually the Greek letter N for like small case, lowercase. So I'm mixing up my writing of words. I suddenly find I've put the Greek in the English and vice versa. So I would say that's repeatedly. What gets you out of bed in the morning? Oh, a lot of effort. Making myself so that oomph, making myself, particularly it's winter now and I'm like, I'm comfy now. I get up dead early in the summer because the sun's coming through the window and it's not cold here now. We're in spring now. We're just starting to get through spring. So it's not cold, but I'm just so comfy and so what gets me out in the bed in the morning is my will, my oomph. I make myself. Or as I say, in the summer, the sunshine. I'll get up. I love the summer when you just get up, throw on a vest top and shorts and you're done. I hate getting dressed in the winter. I'm not anyone who's very good at knows what goes with what and layers and all that. What unhealthy food do you wish was good for you? Oh, cakes and puddings. Cakes and puddings. Definitely. Fresh cream cakes, eclairs and banoffee pie and yeah, easy that one. What would be the most embarrassing reason to get arrested? Ooh, the most embarrassing reason. I don't know. Let's say something like somehow your clothes have got all ripped and come apart or something, and you'll be like showing yourself, and then you get arrested for showing yourself when you didn't mean to. I don't know how your clothes would have got in that state. I really don't know how that would have occurred. But yeah, to be like naked or showing yourself in front of people, and then yes, you would have got arrested, wouldn't you, for that? Oh dear. Oh, we got time for one more card. Look, we got time. Okay, what do you always avoid? Well, I've said doing taxes in the past where I was self-employed. I avoid talking on the telephone. What else? What do I avoid? I avoid bad people, obviously. I disassociate myself straight away from anyone that's not nice in any shape or form, I'll just walk away. You never hear from me again. Bye bye. So I go AWOL from disgusting people. And I won't say anything. That's for other people to find that out themselves, unless it will affect them directly. What do I avoid? I don't wash up, but the story for that is, it's not I don't wash up. Although I don't wash up, it's the fact that because we've got solar hot water, Mike needs to know when he's filled the roof tank with water, when it's warm, what else he's going to be doing that day that he needs the generator on or not, or so on and so forth. So it's not a case of you eat and then you can wash up necessarily, particularly in the winter. I like to eat, wash up, done, finish, settle down for the night, let's say, or after dinner, lunchtime, wash up, go out, do something. But with our system, sometimes you can't do that. In fact, most of the time you can't do it based on what we eat, when we eat. So he wants to do it another time later on, and I can't do that. I have to do something that needs doing, it's done, finished. So because he likes a set time for it to be done, as in not when I would do it, he does it, but then I used to be the one with the income, so he would do like house stuff and I would do that, and it's just ended up staying like that. I do other things. I do most of the housework. I don't clean the toilet and bathroom, or we have a shower room. I don't clean that. That's his job. He's always volunteered to do that. He used to work as a lifeguard at one point in a swimming baths, and he used to have to clean all the toilets. So to him, that's nothing. I always feel men should do that anyway. They're the ones that are maybe make more mess. That sounds awful, but you know what I mean. So he's always done that. So he's done the shower room and toilet and the washing up. We take turns with the cooking. And what does he do as well that I don't do? Oh, now I love doing washing, as in clothes, putting the clothes in the wash and hanging them out. But a long time ago, the door broke on our washing machine and I can't open it. So he just took over doing the washing, because if it needed to go in, I couldn't put the stuff in. If it needed to come out, I couldn't do it. So he does it. I do like hang out the stuff, but normally he knows then when he's put it on, when it'll be finished, and he does that as well. So I wouldn't say I avoid any of those things. I'd like to never have to cook again, really. Even when I feel like cooking, it's actually a real big chore for me. As most of you may know, I don't know where things are. If something's in front of me, it doesn't look like it's there. It looks like it's over here. It just takes too much brain power. So I would like to avoid cooking, but I don't. What's the most amazing thing that's happened in your lifetime? Definitely moving to Cyprus. Definitely 100%. There's been other good stuff. Obviously meeting Mike, coming to Cyprus, getting married in Cyprus. It's that, definitely. If you could add one more feature to your yard, well, these have got to be American, to your yard, that's your garden. In England, a yard is a small back concrete area, like tiny. If you have a yard, it's not big. I know in America, that's like your land, is your yard. If you could add one more feature to your yard, what would it be? If you don't have a yard, what one thing would you want? One more feature. I think this would count. We would love a river. A river. We would absolutely love a river. Now, the only downside of that is, I did say it recently, any water like that, the pool doesn't count because it's got very fine chemical in there. But if you have any water, still water, even running water, you would get mosquitoes and so on and so forth. But that put aside, we would love a running river or stream through our property. We are watching a YouTuber, not long started. I'll have to look up the name of it for you. I think it's the name of the place they bought. He's bought an old mill house in France. And when I say old, it's so derelict you couldn't even see any of the property or anything. Even with a drone over the top, you could just barely make out anything. And he's cutting it through, and it's a right mess, but it's beautiful. It could be so beautiful. So yeah, a stream or a river, not a lake or a pond. No, we want a moving stream or river. That's what we would really like. What would be a truly courageous act? This is the last one for today. What would be a truly courageous act? For government to turn around and say, we've made a big mistake, this is all rubbish, let's start again. We're all rubbish. I'm talking about English. English government, or maybe other countries, tell me in the comments below. We've made a big mistake. We're absolutely rubbish. We're the wrong people for the job. Let's get the right people in and let's get things right. Wouldn't that be courageous? Yes, definitely. Definitely not happening either. Yeah, for people to actually turn around and go, no, this is wrong. No, this is wrong. Or for top CEOs of some companies or businesses to actually turn around and say, I'm walking out. I'm actually rubbish at this job. I was only here for the money. Let's turn the system on its head. Wouldn't that be amazing? And what's your answer to some of those questions? Let me know in the comments below. Well, thanks for being here, guys. It's been really great. So far today, we had Hanging with Mr. J and In Your Yard Homestead. Do check out their channels. And until next time, party on.